here tonight, so that's a bonus.
Is he here?
Yeah.
I just don't see him on the list. Okay.
No, he must have jumped off. He'd logged on. Yeah, I guess he jumped off.
I wonder if his internet kicked him off.
Yeah.
It's not like that's ever happened before.
I'm trying to read everything that's on your shirt.
Oh, on mine?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of logos. It's front and back both.
Oh, that's cool.
These shirts are being done on an annual basis by SK Craft. He's over in England. He does it, the money for the shirt and an auction go for a charity. We do it in late October, early November, so that people can get those auction pieces before Christmas. It works out kind of nice, and we raise a fair number of dollars.
Oh, that's cool. It looks great.
Yeah. I think the people who have their logo on the shirts, I think it's $5. Then for all the shirts that are bought, there's not a lot of money made on the shirts themselves. All those companies charge so stinking much. I think he bumps it up another $1 for the charity. And then the auction is the big money, which is pretty neat.
That's kind of nice.
If I remember in the fall when it's getting ready to have that auction again, I'll let everybody know so that y'all can jump on and see as well. Sometimes those pieces, because it is a charity auction, they go quite expensive very quickly.
Well, true, but at the same time, it's always good to support our charities.
Yeah, it is a charity. We do a different one every year. The first year was the Salvation Army there in England. I think we were able to house, it was over 100 people we were able to house for a couple of nights. This past year we did, what was it? Can't remember if it was Alzheimer's or not Alzheimer's, but dementia in general. That's what it was. It was dementia for their, not research, but for helping the families of dementia patients. That was a good one as well. And we haven't announced this year yet. We don't know what it is.
Well,
hopefully you guys are doing charities where the majority of the money actually goes to the charity and not to the administrative staff. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And that was one of the concerns the first year. And that's why we didn't go back to Salvation Army, was because they never, hard to believe, they never even acknowledged that they got the money. We know they did because all the auction money had to go into a GoFundMe account. And so we were able to watch when that money went out as well. They pulled their money, but never acknowledged it. So we didn't go back to them.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Well, the Salvation Army is one of those institutions as well.
Yeah. And they're worldwide with their issues.
And
yes, they are.
the local one here, when I worked for the post office, they had postal meters and they'd have to bring them in to have them reset and all that. Anyway, somebody must have mistakenly, instead of putting 500 on the meter, they put 5,000 on the meter.
Oh, no.
And those honest people at Salvation Army never told anybody.
Of course
Oh,
not.
no.
Until we started doing accounting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they tried to deny it, but we knew from what they had spent, that's what had happened. But
Sure.
There was something else that happened with people there. And I know it's the local people there. It's not the national, but it kind of disenfranchised me on Salvation Army locally.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for all the good they do, they've got some issues within the organization as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of organizations like that. But
absolutely.
We have local charities here, St. Vincent Paul charities, and they help
Right.
homeless people and stuff. And, you know, even the food bank, my goodness, how many people have we got going hungry? So,
Sure.
yeah.
And that doesn't make sense. There's so much food out there, and so much food being wasted. Why? There's no reason in this country people are going hungry, but they do.
Exactly. There was my I'm going to say husband's daughter because she's a couple years older than I am. She and her husband, they live in Okeechobee, and the lady across the street, she's retired, but she volunteers several times a week at the local food bank out there. And if they have food left over to the day, they either throw it out or give it away. Like
Mhm.
I still got a bag of potatoes she brought me. Now potatoes
Hmm.
last. I couldn't have they saved that for the weekend and started giving it out on Monday, a whole bag of potatoes. But she
Sure.
brought me a bag of potatoes, a bag of clementine, and a bag of sweet potatoes. It's like,
Yeah.
God could have used that.
Sure.
Think about the, just the grocery stores. They'd rather throw it in the dumpster than to have the local food banks come down and get the food and serve it to the people that actually could use it.
Well, I got to
Right.
tell you, I don't know about other Paneras, but the local Panera, every night somebody goes in there from the food bank and they give them all what's in their cases,
Wow,
all the
that's-
breads, all the pastries, and they take it to the food bank. So
Yeah, that's
I
a
have- I
corporate policy.
I have to give them credit for that.
Holiday Gas Station is one of the large corporations in northern Minnesota for gas. They fire people if they give the leftover stuff away.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a shame.
really?
That's a shame.
Hardee's has the same policy. You don't give nothing away unless it's
Hmm.
changed.
Well, JP Morgan said that where back in the 1920s. If I can't put a meter on it, we're not using it. So, no.
Hmm.
Shame, real shame.
Really is.
But yeah. So what has everybody been turning? Anything
No,
good?
I
Tell
haven't.
you later.
I haven't been turning anything.
Yeah, but how is it up there? You're in Kentucky, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. I love your fence and I love the backyard. Reminds me of home up
Oh.
north.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we just did the yard work for one final time on Sunday. So
Okay. So do you go up there
we-
every year, Dane?
well, no, Tina's, my wife's been up here for 14 months, taking care of the grandmother who had, dementia. But she passed away in middle of January. And
Oh,
then
sorry
so
to
she
hear.
stayed, and so she stayed on to help her mother and her aunt, both of which live a mile and a half away from here, and her uncle, which lives an hour away. But then, for the last 5 months, none of them wanted to come and do anything on cleaning or getting the place ready for sale or anything like that, so I came up to collect her. And so we're going back on Saturday.
And as soon as you get home, you're going to say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Oh yeah, well, I know I'm looking forward to it. And obviously she's looking forward to it, I mean, Christ, even, 20 years in the military and this is the longest we've been separated, between the both
Yeah.
of us, multiple 6-month, 8-month deployments, but never this long. It's just,
It's rough.
yeah, it's I've got a lot of angst about it.
Yep.
It's been expensive. Just ready for this chapter to go bye in the review mirror.
Mhm.
For sure.
I bet.
So you're putting the place up for sale?
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. You know, we've got no
Yeah.
iron in the fire, you know, it's not our pig, not our farm.
Yep.
You know, but everyone wants us to do all the work, cleaning and the sorting and pay for everything. And, you know, that's just not happening.
I understand. They gotta step up because they're the ones that are gonna reap the benefits.
Yep, that they are. That they are. So let's see. Almost six. Almost six.
Hey, Dane, good evening.
Hey Tim, how you
Hey.
doing?
Hey,
Here,
John.
real quick. Good.
Kind of look like
So-
you're in black and white there.
I don't know what's going on. Friggin', I'm
Oh,
on
there we
my
go.
shop
That's the
computer.
money shot. That's the money shot. That looks good.
Yeah,
Need to go out a little more, or is it that's tailstock here?
Here, let me
I think we're good right there.
let me spotlight you here.
If you could turn your camera the other direction, be better. It's good like that, but if you could turn, it would be even better. Turn it
Yeah,
90
rotate it.
degrees clockwise.
Actually, are you on your phone or on your camera? Yeah, it was. Go back the other way. You're on
Yeah,
a
you
camera.
went 180.
yeah. That looks good. Bring it down a little bit.
Right
There you
there.
go. That'll
That
work.
look-
That'll work. Little to your right, towards the headstock or tailstock. Just a hair. There we go.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That'll do.
And it'll stay there. All right, there we go.
All right. And then so I'll get you
All right,
queued up.
that'll get me started anyway later on. So
Okay. And then Tim, so I'm
I
gonna,
still gotta
s-
check the
Yeah,
mic that I got, but it's charging right now. So.
okay, yeah. So right now you're
And the other thing I want. Say again?
yeah, go ahead, sir.
I also want to check to see if the dust collection was going to be too much noise, so I'm going to turn it on real quick.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear that or not.
No.
As I
We got it.
say, I don't have a microphone. I've got my Bluetooth mic for my hearing aids, but it's currently being
perfect.
charged because PCCs and PCIs just didn't happen this week. So,
Yeah.
hey, are we good on the dust collection, or do I need to shut it off?
No, you're
Oh,
Don't
good.
hear
Can't
a
even hear
thing.
Can't even hear it.
Okay, good enough.
Yep. Okay. So Tim, I've got you set up as co-host. And so when we go to, when I go to bring you on to do the demo, I'll do my spew about, everybody keep quiet. None of the protruding. I would do something this way, or I would do something, for them to save those comments till the end of the demo. And then once I'm done with my statement on that, I will mute everybody. And then so you'll need to come back in and unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good. All right, sir, going back to regular camera mode, and maybe if my computer wants to cooperate with me. And I'll let somebody else do some talking.
Sounds good. So I got the spotlight off of you now, so you won't feel like a goldfish.
I'm gonna mute myself because I'm gonna call Eddie, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He just went home.
He just went home.
Yeah.
Where was he?
He was at the hospital.
He okay?
Yeah, he was able to go home, so he's doing better.
How long was he at the hospital?
He did not give me permission to disclose everything, so
I understand completely. Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. But he's doing better, based on that. So that's
right. I was gonna call him since you said he there and then went back off, so he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I worry about him, buddy.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of us really,
We're getting a lot
really
of people.
deep felt concerns. So
Yeah. We're getting a lot of people that I don't recognize. And for everybody that's new, welcome aboard. This is wonderful.
yeah, I see a lot of new names since
Yep.
we've set up the questions and whatnot. So it's kind of nice.
Exactly.
Hey, Dane,
Yes, sir.
did you get my message about texturing?
No, I did not.
I sent you a text. It'd be nice to have a demo on texturing. I've tried a few times and I'm not getting anywhere. Birdhouse Bob
Yeah,
and
I
the rest of them do a lot of that, so.
Right.
What are you trying to use to texture with?
I've got a Crown texturing tool and I've made some
Okay.
of my own.
Yeah. The crown with the wheel, the tooth wheel.
Yes.
Yeah. If you will put that in, if you'll put that into the wood with a little, just a slight downward angle and just push straight into the wood, I think you'll find you get a real nice pattern from that.
All righty.
So treat it. So with the texturing tools, you want to treat it like a scraper. So it's the same concept, with the tool rest a little, raised up enough where the cutting surface is
Mhm.
right at center. You want to have your speed somewhere between 500 and 700 RPMs. And as you go in and you put it against it, and then you gradually just raise it up, but you don't move it. And then you let it take hold and let it get a good bite on it. And then gradually move it, across the surface that you're wanting to texture.
Well, okay.
There's a YouTube video that Jeff Hornig put out. Actually, he didn't. He was a demonstrator, but he was demonstrating his Moroccan blue bowl, that technique where the whole thing is textured side and out. And he has a lot of good insights on the actual texturing. If you can find that video, I think you'll learn a lot there. I did.
All righty, we'll try it.
I just got in. I'm sorry. Were you guys talking about texturing face or texturing spindle?
I believe just texturing in general.
Because I did a short demo here in the club a while back on
Yes, you
how
did.
to put the spirals on a goblet stem with the Sorby spiraling tool. So sounds exactly like what you were just describing, Dane.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
know we
well,
got a demo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I second what Doug said about Jeff Hornung's video. He's very good at those bowls he makes, and there are a lot of good techniques in there. There's also some very good ones out there by Nick Agar, where he demonstrates those the sorbity texturing and spiraling and the decorating elf. Both very good videos.
Yeah, and then Sam,
The
Sam
Wyoming,
from Wyoming, via
Yeah.
the former Buckeye.
Angelo.
He's got a lot of texturing as well. The Wyoming wood turner.
Yeah, Sam Angelo.
Yeah, Sam Angelo.
Now, I won't be able to remember my own name here in about 10 minutes, but I remember that.
Right, there you go.
hey Doug, you've got a video out here showing exactly that.
Texturing,
Yeah.
I've done one or two. I did a Moroccan blue, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was my first attempt, and I was amazed. I did that right after watching Jeff's video when he demonstrated it.
Yeah, I think I did a texturing on a crotch piece a couple of years ago as well, maybe 3 years ago. But we can do FaceTime when I get back to Arizona and get situated, Ron, and I can get you squared away on it, one-on-one sometime.
Alrighty.
So there's Doug Miller's video.
We're in chat.
Yep, in chat.
So,
Thank you,
all
man.
right, well, we're at the top of the hour. And so Eddie won't be joining us tonight. He's under the weather. But everybody, send your prayers, thoughts, and everything like that through to Osmosis out there because, he could definitely use some positive thoughts. Sue's got a good looking little kitty cat there.
Yep. Little
And
doll.
we have a really good demonstration lined up for tonight. We have a first time demonstrator in Tim Hatch. So he's stepping up to the plate to go underneath the goldfish bowl like a lot of us have already. So we'll do that at the top of next hour. Doug Miller, can I get you to do gallery for me tonight?
I can do that.
Outstanding. And then, so just a little bit of business. So we're still doing stickers. Eddie's wife will be filling in for him. Of course, I think she actually does the mailing of them to begin with. But we've still got stickers on hand. $5 will get you 10 shipped to your front door or your mailbox. For our folks that are overseas, throw in an extra $1 for the additional postage for it. And then those will be shipped out as well. We've got well over 1,300 stickers, so we've got plenty there. But going good. I've seen several folks doing YouTube videos with our sticker popping up on. In fact, some of the people's not even coming to our meetings, which is kind of odd, but whatever. It's good to see that, we are getting our brand out there a little bit more than what we had before. So that's always great. For those that are going to SWAT, I know Tim's going to SWAT. I don't know if anybody, I know Billy Burt's going to SWAT, but maybe later on, if we can get one of you folks to give a contact list on what's going on for SWAT and the amenities there for campgrounds. I know probably the majority of the hotels are already booked up there in Wackos. So if you don't have a reservation, might be paying through the nose going last minute. But supposedly SWAT is, out of all of the symposiums, that's supposed to be the best one to go to. So if y'all can swing it, sounds like I would go if I was able to swing it. But it sounds like a really good time. And then AAW is kicking off, I believe the virtual AAW is kicking off tonight. And it lasts all through the weekend, but primarily tonight and tomorrow. The main symposium kicking off for the AAW there in Louisville on Friday through the weekend. Last week, we did an announcement for folks that are going. Of course, the majority of the folks are probably already there, but put your name and your cell phone number. If you're tuning into the meeting and you didn't do it last week, do it now. Put it in the chat, put your name and your cell phone number. That way y'all can hook up and, maybe go hang out and actually shake a hand and do a physical meet and greet, as opposed to our Zoom thing that we've been doing all along. So that would be great for you folks that are going up there. Hope y'all have a good time. It's supposed to be a supposed to be a really good time. They've got a lot of demonstrations, and I don't think a person could attend each and every demonstration without seeing anything that would definitely be worthwhile. I don't think you'd be able to see anything that wasn't worthwhile up there. So, you know, for those that are going, it's going to be quite the experience, especially if you're going for the first time.
Heather just put something up, and it's good for everybody. If you'd like to see some of the demos and can't, excuse me, you can't go, or if you're like me, you can't afford to spend the money for all the demos. I'm going to go just do the gallery and the exhibit area. But anyway, you can go to the AAW website, and there there's a fee to pay, and you can watch every demo that they've got.
Yep.
Watch it from home.
Thanks, Heather.
And so, like, as always, we've got gallery going on. So if you've been turning this week, or if you've got a piece that you've made in the past that you would like to show off to the group, put it in the chat, say, hey, I got something to show. Doug Miller will take down your name. And when we go to start doing gallery items, Doug will call on you. When he calls on you, go ahead and start talking. That way your name will bounce to the top, and it's easier for us to find it, highlight you, and allow you to show off your piece. You know, we like to know about the piece, how you turned it, what your finish is on it, what the wood is, and you know, if you did any special texturing or embellishing on it, you know, tell us what you did, and answer any questions that may come out of that from the rest of us here in the group, because we're all here to learn. And so this is kind of weird, because normally at this moment, I am full-time in the chat taking down names.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug, do we have anybody for gallery yet?
Yeah, we do. In fact, Matt Harbor came on just as you said something there about it. Let's see if I can find Matt. I'll get you on here. Here you are, Matt.
Yeah, I'm right here. Thanks, Doug. I have taken up a gig where I'm teaching a weekend of wood turning once a month at a local woodworking school, and it's basic and intro class, so it's a full weekend. And one of the things that we turned is carving mallets, and it's designed for beginners. So this is red oak, and it's a piece of red oak that somebody gave me last weekend. And this is actually a piece from the pith, so I expect it to crack soon if it's not already. But it's got some serious heft to it, and it joins a several of these pieces that are on the wall in my shop. So it's. But I think that these are really useful. I actually use my carving mallets more than I would have thought I would.
Yep.
When I first made them. But rule number one is, when it's wet, don't set it down on your steel table saw, because it'll interact with the steel.
Huh. Tell us about how you know that.
Yeah. That's what the black is.
Yep, sure is.
Which is probably why I'm imagining, and somebody can enlighten me on this, I'm imagining that's because the liquids in the oak are fairly acidic and interact with the steel to ebonize, which is why steel wool works that way. But I'm guessing. So, you know, whoever knows more about that, feel free to chime in.
Oak
Yeah,
has a lot.
specifically the tannins.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the
All
steel
wood
interacting
sap.
with the tannins. Okay.
All wood sap will react with metal in a different way. All
Right.
the minerals and stuff.
Oak is the most adverse, though.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of things else that I that are not ready to show just yet, but I've been prolific over the last several weeks. So I got like 10 things in being finished and so on. So
Yeah, sharp mallet is a very good project to turn. It's very good spindle work. And it's, and like you said, Matt, it's a very handy item for using on your bench, especially with your flat chisels or anything else. I know, like
And I gotta
for my shop mallets, I like to turn a full on swell for the center, the palm of my hand, and there you go. Yep.
Yep, and I'm a
And,
fan of this sort of thing on the end, and I really like having a little knob on the end like this. And if you look carefully, it's a little smaller here and it gets a little bigger here. And that I can't tell you how comfortable and fun this feels. So
yeah, you can totally customize it to your hand. Yeah, that's a fact. I like my shop mallet.
And everybody makes these huge ones. I've found so many uses for 1/2 that size. I just love my littler mallets.
And then so sticking with the shop mallet project, so it doesn't necessarily have to be used in the shop. You can actually make it a little bit smaller, and then you make it more concave on the end, and that makes a wonderful utensil for smashing potatoes, parsnips, carrots, and the most excellent way to take avocado and convert it into guacamole. So my wife's got one, my daughter's got one, and I've probably sold.
That's a little aggressive, isn't it?
50 to 60, for that purpose as a kitchen utensil.
Wow.
I gotta try that. I gotta try that. That sounds like just great, good fun, mashing up avocado.
You really need to show us one.
It is. They love it.
Show us one next time.
When I get home, I will. Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds great.
Yep. In fact, my second shop mallet, my wife commandeered it and said, hey, if you can do this, I want this, for doing what, I'm like, yeah, okay, great idea. All right.
What's the diameter of those that you make?
I want to say it's 1 3/4 inch, 1 13/16.
Okay, thanks.
So it's it's almost kind of a pestle almost.
Pestle.
That seems, because this is like.
I hear you, but no, it's just like a shop mallet, except it's just smaller diameter. That's all.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll show you the ones, back home.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Do you
Thank
guys,
you, Matt.
I'm sorry,
do
repeat
you
that?
guys- Dave, do you guys over there not get tenderizing mallets, for steak? That's exactly
yeah,
what
we got-
we just have the crosses, the diamonds on the bottom for tenderizing the steaks with them.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Mine's made out of aluminium.
What, the steak hammer? Your cows are obviously tougher over there than they are over here. We just have them out of wood.
We
Just don't
run
wanna
them
beat-
harder.
I just
We
don't
run
wanna
them
beat it
harder,
as
Martin.
much.
All right, thanks, Matt. How about Tom
pleasure.
Kenny?
Hey,
Tom,
can you find me?
something for us?
There we
I
go.
got you.
A couple
got
weeks ago, I showed a Bradford pear holoform that I had done some branding on for texture. And I kept looking at the thing and it just was lacking something. In our last local club meeting, one of the fellows brought in a holoform that had a oval shaped finial. And I asked him how he did it. And he said basically he turned a cone and then cut the sides off the cone. And here is my attempt at it. And I
Wow.
feel like it kind of completed the piece.
Mhm.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So that was my first attempt, and I see more of them in the future. And it was a fun project.
Now, it's
And that's
beautiful.
all we
Yeah,
got for
Tom.
tonight.
What's the top of your finial look like, Tom?
Uh,
Okay, concave.
Beautiful.
and the way I arrived at that is after I cut the sides off it, I took an aerosol can and laid it on there and just traced along the bottom to get that little curvature to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks
And then
nice. That's-
sorry for the reflection, but the sides of it are oval or rounded because the whole thing started as a big cone.
Right.
Then it slabbed off the sides, cut off the top, and called it done.
Yeah, it's one of the prettier pieces of Bradford pear I've seen.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Now, how'd you do
spot on.
the bottom of it, Tom?
The bottom was done with a pyrography. Let's see, I've got it right here.
That looks like the Molly Winton basket weave thing.
Correct.
Yep, okay.
Okay,
And it's just a piece of coiled nichrome wire. You coil it
Okay.
around a drill blank, a drill bit,
mhm.
and 5 revolutions around, and you're good to go.
A nail
Wow.
works good too.
The
Okay.
trick that Molly Winton gave was to use one of these hex shank drill bits. And you can
Okay.
take
Okay.
a little vice grip and clamp the wire to the hexagonal part, then wrap it around the shank and release it, cut it off, and bend it to final shape.
Wow. Great.
Great tip.
And then
Great.
Hey,
the pyrography machine, I have a commercial bought one, but Graham Priddle has a video out on how to convert a battery charger for a car into what he calls the vaporizer. And I mean to tell you, it's a serious, it's like a light bulb. If you turn that thing up too high, the nichrome wire just melts and falls to pieces. So you really have to watch it. But when you touch it to the wood, you don't have to sit there and wait. There's instant flame as soon as you touch, and you move to the next spot.
It's
I
beautiful,
like
Tom.
it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a
Sure
pretty
appreciate
touch.
that.
Dave Rhodes, that is a perfect item to clip out for a tip for a web page.
I do have some pictures I took today. I can just email them in.
Oh, that'd be
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do it. That's it for
Send
tonight.
send them to Dave, Tom.
Okay. Got
And
it.
if you don't have his email, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you did. Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Let's go
Thank
over to Dave Kingsley.
Howdy.
Hi there.
It is.
I did another little box. Am I being heard? Like, it doesn't
Yes,
sound
you
like it.
are. We got
Yes.
you.
Okay, okay, that's good. Did another little box. The top is oak and the bottom is walnut.
Very nice.
And actually, it's sort of a rescue because I did another box and I messed up the top, which is this. I made it too small. And so I saved it by making another bottom. And there is a little bit of texture on the top. I didn't like it. Yeah, there it is. You can see
Yeah.
it.
Nice.
Very nice.
How'd you do
Yeah.
that, Dave?
How'd you texture it?
Well, I saw on clearance one of the toothed wheels for a sorbing thing. And I
Okay.
got that and I put a bolt through it on a piece of angle iron and that's what I use.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's so the teeth are straight in. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
That looks
Okay,
good.
cool. Yeah, I like the way it looks too.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's something, but not too much.
Right.
And right now it's got sort of a pop fit, but the problem around here is it's a cross grade box and in another month I won't be able to get it open. So I have to be careful. I try to make them loose. So much for the pop fit kind of thing.
Well, it's only us Turners that like that snap crack on the
Yeah,
box anyway. So
I had another thought this week about something that might be cool, and that would be, what is your source of inspiration to wood turning? And the reason I
Okay.
asked that is because I was thinking about retiring a few years ago, and I started watching some YouTubes. And what got me going, I was watching a guy named Mike Walt from England.
Yep.
And he was doing a thing with a goblet. And he said if you put your name in the credit or something in the comments, then he was going to pick on. And I ended up with this. And I decided after seeing this, I really wanted to see how well I could do.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes, this is done by Mike Walt, and he shipped it to me. It's the stem is Purple Heart, the lighter wood is acacia, and the dark wood is mahogany.
He's got a great series of videos on his YouTube channel,
Oh, he's
especially a
fantastic.
really good beginner series where he
Yes,
goes through all the tools and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a really great turner. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he's even got a decent video on how to make a steady rest.
yeah, but that's what inspired me to try
Yeah.
turning.
Yeah, I took down that question. Look for it to appear on one of the weekly posts on the Facebook page. Good recommendation there, Dave.
Thank you.
I'll get that set up.
But other than
I could tell you where I get some of my inspiration. Some of my inspiration comes right out of here. Every week.
Yeah.
well, that's true. But I was thinking, what got you started? I mean, some of you guys. I mean, I've been watching for a while. Some of you guys have been doing this all your lives.
Well, I can tell you, Dave, that me personally, I have an obsession with Celtic artwork, and I walked into a hobby store looking for some round things to paint Celtic artwork on, and looked at what they had and said, "Geez, this is junk. I can make stuff better than this." And literally, that's how I started my turning journey.
Yeah.
First, you got to retire. Takes you 2 years to get a retirement.
Yeah.
After that, man, ideas come everywhere. And they're
That-
eventually busy.
And
Yeah.
when woodworking gets too hard for you or too heavy for you with those 10-foot planks of wood, you go into wood turning. It's instant gratification.
Right. Well, that's how I got started. So I was tired of doing flat work. Wanted that instant gratification.
Yeah. Yeah. But you still get to smell the wood every day, which is great.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yep.
definitely.
Very good. Thanks, Dave. Doug, who we got?
There we go. My button wouldn't push. Kelly, what you got for us this week?
All right, I turned a few things. First I turned myself a couple matching pens since I'm always losing or selling my pens.
Oh, beautiful pens.
Yeah, they turned out cool. I like these click pens to kind of carry around. And it's just some scrap box elder burl that I had laying around.
Oh, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
blasphemy. Scrap. No such thing.
There's no such thing as scrap in my shop, that's for sure.
No.
But
And that's gun.
Woodcraft has PSI's little pen holders, so those are really fun to
Oh,
do
good.
too. Yeah, so you can just grab a little piece of wood off the ground and look for some cool design in it, and then you got a little pen holder with the brass. I like that. And then I had this pecan I turned a screwdriver handle for. That was pretty cool. And then I turned a little lidded pot. But I think I'm gonna switch to screen because it's kind of hard to see on here, the design on it, but it doesn't really,
No, it looks all right.
it doesn't hold a
Yeah, we'll
candle
see it.
to that one that you just saw a second ago. But I turned you were talking about texturing. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right,
Well,
so
we do.
if I minimize this, can you see that jar?
No, we see in your face.
No.
What you have to do is do a share screen and then pick the window that's got what you want to show us in it.
Okay, give me 1 second. I can do that.
You just muted yourself.
All right, you're muted, Kelly. We can't hear you.
Take yourself off the mute.
There we go. How about now?
Yeah,
Good.
now we can see it.
Now, do you see the jar or do you see my face?
See the jar.
Oh, okay. There's some texturing right there. Obviously, I didn't do a good job of kind of hiding those lines coming out, but that's one of those little spindle texture tools, turned one way, then turned the other way. And in the center, it's held straight onto it. But I mean, I wasn't really turning this for anybody. And so that's just a little mason jar lid. And then there's that lidded, you see that?
Yes.
It's got an ebony finial. It sits down in there. I was kind of happy with it. I liked it.
Sure.
It's
What you
beautiful.
gonna finish it? What you gonna finish it in?
All I did, so I sanded it with mineral oil and I put a little tongue oil on it, but I think that's probably it. I mean, I don't need to finish it anymore.
Okay. Right on. Yeah, it looks nice, Kelly.
Thanks. There we go. Stop sharing. You can use you can literally use a butter knife to texture. Somebody was asking about texturing. You can just stick a butter knife in there and just kind of hold it at a downward angle. Just turn your speed down to like Dane was saying, somewhere like around 500 is fine. And it's gonna do, just practice on something, because it's gonna do a little bit different than what you think it's gonna do. You can move it back and forth, but hold it at a downward angle and just let it hit it in different directions. And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. You can make all kinds of neat designs.
Oh yeah. Reciprocating saw blades. Those can be used as chatter tools.
I've got a little square. Let me go grab it. I got this piece of square.
You can
Yeah,
use
folks
drill
make
bits
chatter
off on the
tools out of all
bias.
kinds of
There's all
things.
kinds of things you can use.
Bandsaw blades that are busted. Yep.
Yeah.
Works best on cheap wood. You get the good wood and you screw it up every time.
Just make yourself a handle and then run it through your bandsaw, and you can take like one of these square pieces from a square, the pieces of metal, and just kind of stick it down in there on either side, and then tighten it up on your tool handle that you made that you cut a little line in. Just tighten it up with one of these, and so then you've got a texture tool for damn near free. You can just kind of just jam it in there, kind of like at a downward angle at a relatively sort of slow speed. Move it back and forth and turn it up a little bit or turn it down a little bit or use the point. You can do all kinds of neat little stuff pretty fast. And then I also use these little putty spatulas that you get, and I'll take that and cut different shapes, round off the edges, and those are really good. They're flexible but not bendable, so you can use those really easy. A lot of great stuff to use.
Good ideas.
Yep. Sometimes a person just got to think outside the box. Don't have to buy the expensive tools for it. Get the same effect or an effect like it.
That's for sure.
Good stuff. Thanks, Kelly.
Okay. Bill Louch has something for us tonight. What you got, Bill?
Good evening, all. This is a piece of plum. Around here, the plum is quite small, so you're really only dealing with branches. So this is an end-turned vase out of plum. Because of the I use CA glue to try and seal this here, and there were a few cracks in here. So CA is a nice finish for something like that. Don't worry too much about the cracks. They kind of, I think, improve the look of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the second thing is like many of you, we're dealing with the emerald ash borer that's killing trees at an alarming rate. So we had 4 taken down a couple of weeks ago, and I salvaged a little bit. And so this is
Oh, beautiful.
crotch piece of elm, not elm, ash, a little bit of bark on one side.
Nice.
This had the worm tracks in this side, so I sanded that off a little bit. Yeah, it's a bit heavier than maybe it should have been, but it's okay.
Nicely.
We cost me $3,200 to take down these trees, and I saved 4 pieces, so I'm selling these at $800 a piece to recover the cost. So
There you go.
now,
There you go.
for you guys in the States, that's only $700 US. You know, I'll take the check. There you go. That's it for today.
Very
Beautiful.
nice.
Thank you.
That's all I've got for right now.
All right.
Billy Burt's
Well,
gotta
I-
have, he just logged on.
Yeah, I see Billy just came on, and so I would like to get Billy to give us an update on what he knows about SWAT and what may be going on at SWAT, if he would. So Billy, talk to us about SWAT.
SWAT, the last weekend in August. Let me pull my calendar up just to make sure I don't lie to you. Yes. Starts Friday, the 25th through Sunday, the 27th. And a great time is going to be had by all I know. Scott is going to be one of our demonstrators this year. And can't remember Scott's last name right off the top of my head, but that he's at Hampton. Yeah, that feller from California. He's going to be demonstrating this year. There's going to be a number of good demonstrators. There always is. Martin Saban-Smith's coming back. He's going to be there too. I don't know that he's planning any demonstrations, but I'm sure he'll be demoing at one of the booths. I'm looking forward to it. I always do. I always have a great time. I always learn a lot, and it's just good to meet up with other turners, either those you know or those you don't. I make new friends every time I go. And dollar for dollar, not counting the stay at the Hilton, which has now gone up ridiculously, but dollar for dollar symposium cost wise, this is absolutely the least expensive turning symposium you're going to find in the nation. And I actually think it's probably one of the best. I've never been to AAW, but I know the cost is prohibitive, and I have no idea. Not any idea. I have no desire to go to AAW. At least that's what all the vendors tell me. The vendors tell me they prefer SWAT because it's a much better symposium, and I have a tendency to believe a lot of them because for some of them are my friends.
Right. And do they have campground facilities in the area there of Waco for?
In Waco, there are a number of campground facilities around the area, and there are actually affordable hotels around the area as well. If you get a little further away from downtown Waco, like just to the south is where I used to stay. And it was always like $60-$70 a night, which isn't bad. But there are camp facilities in the area. Okay, there are campgrounds in the area for tents or RVs, either one. Tommy, what do you mean by idea when they will post the rotation? What rotation?
Probably the demonstrator rotation.
I think that's been up. Let me check real quick.
Hey, Billy, while you're checking, yeah, there are campgrounds up there. In fact, I'm staying at a Army Corps of Engineer Lake Midway, which is about 15 minutes away from the convention center, and it's like $22 a night. So
Oh, the
that's
turning.
not-
Okay, I got you.
That's a good deal.
Let me see if that's been posted yet.
While you're looking, I'll just say SWAT is one of the best organized because it's in the same location every time. And they know the caterer and they know the venues and they know everything around there, what's going to happen. After you
Right.
do it 6 or 8 times, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
There's also free parking. You know, in Pittsburgh, we stayed in a hotel and the parking was like $128 for the weekend. It was another 2 or 3 days, they could have kept the car. It was ridiculous. But anyway,
I don't know when they're going to put the rotation schedule up. That usually, I had to stop and remember and think that's usually not up until at the end of June, first part of July, I think at the earliest, because there's so many things that change. And even last minute, there's always some rotational changes.
Subject to change.
Yeah, because one reason or another, something will come up and one demonstrator won't be able to come up and they'll have somebody else take their place, or they'll have to do some shuffling for another reason.
They've been through that many times too. In fact, they actually hire a standby demonstrator. So the day of, if somebody doesn't show up, there's some guy standing there with a set of tools and a demo ready to go.
Well, that's good. That's very good to know.
I've been that guy, so I know. And,
well, and are you coming again this year, Jim?
I don't know. We're talking about it.
Well, I'd like to meet you if you are.
It's a 3-day drive.
I
love it.
I understand. I really do.
That's good. All right. Well, thanks, Billy, for the update on SWAT. And then, so we've still
My
got
pleasure.
stickers going on. So there's no change to that. So if you haven't got your stickers yet, you can get 10 stickers for $5. They'll be shipped to your door or to your post office box. And for our folks that are overseas, another $1 for the additional postage, and we can get them shipped to you overseas. No problems there. Eddie's wife will be taking care of the shipping things out like she normally does. She's the muscle behind that operation there for Eddie, and you know,
I believe Eddie wants me to.
Similar to what we do for turning. You know, we want to do and find things that are convenient and makes life easier for us, and she definitely does that for Eddie. So, what you got there, Billy?
I was just going to say, I believe he wants me to pass out cards and even stickers this year. So I will be doing that.
Have you got your stickers yet?
I have my stickers. Yes.
Okay. Well, no. For the SWAT.
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah. Pop him an email. I know last week or the week before he was saying that he was in the process of getting those sent out to you guys. So,
well, I know he was sending the stuff out for AAW because that had to be done pretty quick. We still got a little bit of time before SWAT.
Yeah, I've gotten mine for AAW, so I'm ready to go.
But good to know. All right, so we have a good demo lined up for this evening. We're gonna have
Cool.
Mr. Tim Hatch doing something that might go boom, it might go bang. At a minimum, it's gonna have shavings coming off his lathe, so that's an added bonus. But let's see, we got Sue in the house tonight. She's back from brainstorming from last week. We won't go into that. We talked about that earlier, but let's go to Sue and get our safety briefing. Hey, Sue.
How are you? You know, we've gone over some more intense stuff like chainsaws, bandsaws, circular saws, and we're getting a lot of new members. So I think it's time that we went back to basics. So first of all, on this week's episode, I want everybody to be able to see what they're doing next week. So please wear safety glasses for whatever you're doing, whether it be in the wood shop or in your lathe shop. Even if you have a face shield on, wear safety glasses. You only get one pair of eyes, guys. And when you are starting your lathe, I know some lathes don't go to zero. Some lathes do. You can turn them off and turn them on. Make sure you're at the lowest speed possible when you have your item on there, whether it be between centers or whether you're on a chuck. Turn it as low as you can go. Stand off to the side and then turn the lathe up. Make sure it's not going to fly off there and hit you in the face, hit you in the teeth. Make sure you have your face mask on. And please, guys and gals, we want to see each other next week. God bless. Bye-bye.
Yes, we do. Thank you, sir.
Can I piggyback on that real quick?
Very good info.
Yes, please,
Absolutely,
Billy.
Just to relay an experience from when I was in my 20s. I think I was about 21. I was cutting a piece of 3/4 inch plywood with a circular saw. Didn't use safety glasses. I wasn't wearing them. I didn't wear specs at the time, so I didn't have those either. And I hit a knot with that circular saw, and it threw a piece of knot and cut my right cornea right across the pupil.
Oh my gosh.
I immediately went to the ER and they irrigated it and all of that. Put a patch over my eye for about a week. It did not, thankfully, cause any permanent damage, and my eyesight didn't change at all. But one thing that did happen as I got older, as my eyes began to change and I started needing these, I was nearsighted in one eye and farsighted in the other. And that's the only thing I can think of that would cause that. So you never know. And like you said, Jim, like Sue said a minute ago, God only gave us one pair of eyes. And without those, many of us would be lost. So you cannot take safety for granted ever for anything, or regardless of what tool you're using. If you're using something that spins or vibrates and cuts, it can throw, and anything that can throw can be thrown at you. So just be careful, folks.
Thanks, Billy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, very good. Then. Very good at Denver. All right. Well, I think without further ado, we're going to go to Bastrop, Texas, and see what Mr. Hatch is going to spin up for us.
Go, Timmy, go.
Similar to all other demos, please keep your comments and your how I would do something till the end of the demonstration. This is Tim's demonstration, and Tim is going to do it the way Tim wants to do it. And then we can have comments and questions after the demonstration. So with that, I am going to mute everybody, and then Tim is going to come back on and unmute himself. And so without further ado, Tim, how are you? So just unmute yourself now, Tim.
That's good, Tim.
All right, we'll try that again. We're
There
making
we go.
cannons today.
Yay.
Not the greatest cannon in the world. It's kind of clunky, but it's a pop. So I'll show you guys how I made it, and we'll go from there. So obviously as I said, the wheels are kind of clunky. You guys can do this any way you want. We have a little challenge coming up, Take Back Our Country, and that's the end of June, the last meeting in June. So Eddie would like us all to make some cannons and be able to show folks what we can do. So I just kind of threw this thing together last night, literally just to make things happen. So let's talk about dimensions real quick. So my barrel itself started out as a 5-inch piece of wood. The lowest point here in the barrel is 35 mils or 1 3/8 for those of us that use standard. And then the top here is about 40 mils. The piece of timber that I have stuck up on the lathe right now is about, it's about 2.5 inches thick and about 4 3/4 long approximately. So one of the things we have to do is we have to drill out the inside, a couple different size holes there. When I took my measurement for my party popper, I came up with, let's see, it was a little over 1 inch. So I went with 1 1/8 inches for my hole. And then on the back end, because you got to have that, the back end there, that's going to be approximately 3/8 of an inch is what I came up with to be able to stick it in the barrel. Party poppers, as you guys know, little strings on them, etc. To load it. All you have to do is just basically stick it down into the barrel. You may have to extend the string depending on how you're doing it. I like to wet the string a little bit and then stick it down into the barrel and cannon. And you may or may not get it the first time, but anyway, you guys get the gist of it. Let's get on to turning. So we're going to start off with starting to turn the barrel first, and then we'll talk about the other pieces of the pie. Before I do, I need to get rigged up because my old body has asthma, so I've got to get the mask on. I've got to get the face shield on. I'm going to switch cameras right now and put you guys over the top of the lathe. All right, so the first thing I got to do is I've got to make my tenon. I started making a tenon, but I did not complete it. You got a couple different choices. You could use a banana. Can everybody see that, or do I need to adjust things a little bit?
Can see it fine.
Looks good here, Tim.
I'm going to get pretty close to the size I need, and I'm going to check my steel. Because I have dovetail jaws, I'm going to put a little dovetail in there. So we have a couple choices. The first choice would be to go ahead and drill it out now and then turn it to the size that we want, or turn it and then drill it. I think personally, I like having the structure of the wood, so I'm going to go ahead and drill it first, and then we're going to turn to the dimensions. So again, the size drill bit that I need is 1 inch and 1/8. I've got checked up in here. I've got 1 inch and 1/8 Forstner bit. I'm going to turn the speed all the way down, like Sue said, and then we're going to increase the speed. You guys will notice I got a wedding ring on. Old injury in the Army, I broke a knuckle and I can't get the dang thing off. So she's stuck with me until I go.
How deep are you drilling?
They go about 4 inches. Or the depth of my drill bit, which, hang on 1 second, I'll tell you exactly how deep it is. It's always nice when stuff falls off your leg. So I got 4 1/4 inches on that. I can't extend the drill bit any longer, and I don't have an extension for this particular drill bit. So right now I've got, again, the 1 1/8 hole in there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1/8 inch, I'm sorry, 3/8 inch hole all the way through. All right, so next measurements that we talked about, the smallest part of the barrel, approximately, I'm going to say that's going to be about 3/4 of an inch. And then the widest part of the barrel is probably going to be somewhere right around here. So I need to take this down to 1 3/8. And this line here, I need to take down to 1.5 inches. So I'm going to use my, I'm going to go ahead and use my parting tool just to get the dimensions on that, and then we'll continue on. tailstock support. So we can clear the truck. That's pretty close. That'll work. And I messed up. Just gonna have to make that can barrel a little shorter.
Only in a demo.
There yet, always in the demo.
That's what I was going to say, especially if I'm doing it.
All right, so the next thing you do is you obviously take it down a little smaller. You want that flange up barrel. Quick measurement here, see where we're at. We've got quite a ways I can go down. I can the shape. Get the wall thickness. It's not terrible. So right now, what I have is basically a block. You see where the tenor was? I'm gonna take my chuck off and I'm gonna go with the safety center. I can find the right Allen wrench. Those folks that have your locking screws, your grub screws, make sure you put them in on your chucks. That way, put the lathe in reverse. You don't have the chuck come off. Ask me how I know. So right now I have where my large cone go in, and then I have the safety drive back in the back. Underneath there so you can see a little better. So I have a couple different choices. I can continue on with the, with the spindle gabs, or we can use a steel. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the steel. Nice thing about that safety center, if it's not tight or you get a catch, it'll stop spinning. Shoot the workpiece will grenade on the way. Start making that catch. We're starting to get that cannon shape a little bit. Trying to get that back end, the plug on the back end here. So you got a choice. We can continue with the skew, or you can go on with the spindle gouge. I'm going to keep using the skew. Clean that up a little. Yeah, a whole lot of vibration. Well, for taking the tension off, as long as we stay centered, where we want to. Take my hole was centered. My drill. I had that extension on there. A little better. All right, so you have your choice. Sand it, you can do whatever you want to do with it. Maybe a little smaller. For right now, I think we're just gonna hit it with some sandpaper real quick. Put my speed down. Now, one thing I did really screw up on though was I didn't sand the inside when I still had that tenon on. So now I got to manually sand it. But if you're sanding with the tenon on, while it's on the lathe, don't stick your finger in the hole. Okay? Don't put your finger in the hole when the lathe is spinning. You're going to rip your finger off. Get yourself a stick. Something like that. That's the right size, right diameter. That way you can sand with the stick and not your finger. Got a little rough edge here. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a piece of sandpaper down. Sand that barrel flat. Obviously, power sanding would be another option. All right, so on the cannon that I made, take the wheel off so you can see what's going on here. All I did was I found my point that I wanted to mount the cannon barrel on, and I drilled the hole. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remount this real quick. And I'm using 3/8 inch dowel. So I'm going to find a spot and just drill a hole. I'm going to lock down my tailstock. You don't have to go very deep. Just deep enough to put a little plug in. And you glue that plug in there, and you're still good to go. Now, if depending on the type of cannon you're making, you could put another lug on the other side, and that could be your swivel point. That's not the style I'm making, so we're just going to go with that little plug right there. Now, the next thing I did, I took a piece of scrap wood laying around the shop. This is just under, that's about 1 inch square. I cut a 45 on one side and a 45 on the other. My concept would be the barrel would sit like that. So I'm going to have to drill this thing at a 45-degree angle. So I keep dropping stuff, we'll be good. So all I'm going to do is just take, obviously, my little clamp here, put my piece of wood down at 45-degree angle. I'm going to clamp it down. We'll find the center point that I want. I'm going to drill down approximately ½ inch or so. Make sure I don't drill through the bottom of the wood. There we go. Now we have a mounted cannon barrel. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to figure out how to put wheels on this thing. So to do that, because I already cut this piece of wood at a 45, I'm just going to take my wheel, I'm going to line it up to wherever my wheel touches the ground and the back of this post touches the ground. I'm going to line it up, mark the spot. Now on this one, I cut it a little bit too long, so I'm going to have to sand that down, but we'll get to that in a minute. Right now, I've marked the spot. Take my cannon back off because I haven't glued anything down yet. I'm just going to drill straight through, all the way through that. Now on this spot I've marked, it's not centered. It's about a third of the way down. So about a third of an inch from the bottom. As always in demonstrations, when you're doing things, everything always cooperates with you.
Oh, it wouldn't be any other way, Tim.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Billy had pieces flying apart last week. Doug had them flying apart a couple weeks ago. I'm in good company. Well, we'll make it.
Get a couple more under your belt and you'll be doing YouTube in no time.
All right, so we know that's a 3/8 inch hole. The dowel rod and my wheels, and of course, everything I've got to measure off of that. Right now, my wheels are 3/4 of an inch thick. I want a little bit of a slop. And I also need to make sure I can clear the barrel of the cannon, regardless of how wide it is or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a chunk of dowel rod, cut off a piece real quick. That looks pretty good to me as far as width and that type of thing, based off of the cannon. So if I double the size of this dowel rod, maybe a little bit longer, that'll be the dimension I need. The length I need. All right. So if you want your wheels to turn, we're gonna have to do something to the dowel rod. Okay, so it's tight on mine right now, but my wheels turn on this cannon. If you don't care, just drive your dowel rod in there. But if you do care and you want your wheels to turn, you're gonna have to make the center of this a little smaller than the diameter of the original dowel. You can do that one or two ways. You could either turn it down, you could sand it down. I'll let y'all figure that out. But to turn it down, all I would do would be mark centers, stick between my points here. We'll do that real quick. I'm trying to bore you all to death. So I've got about 3/4 of an inch, somewhere around here. And somewhere around here. Everything else in the center needs to be loose or smaller diameter. Bevel, look up the back end of the tool. And of course, we got that surface in the center so it can rotate on as an axle a little smoother. Make sure you don't go on the 3/8 part where the wheel's going to lock in. Now I have a thinner area here. When I drive that in, that's now going to go ahead and rotate fairly easily. Gonna take my little shop-made mallet here. Let's hit the hole. I have an axle that spins freely within the, within that cannon body though. All right, so on the wheels, you guys can pretty much figure out your wheels on your own, but I'm going to show you what I did. Then we'll cut this thing short and wrap everything up. Again, this is not, this is not a finished product. This is just a way to make a cannon. Not a finished cannon by any means, but it's good enough for my grandson to stick in his crib and friggin' crawl around with. So what I did for my wheels, I'll put my chuck back on real quick. Make sure I tighten up that grub screw. I don't want the chuck coming off. So what I did was I made a little sacrificial piece out of scrap. And I've got, like everybody's got little spots on their lathe where they normally mount stuff. Mine happens to be on this particular piece of wood, lined up in between the number 1 dots here. So, All right, so what I did here, I took a square piece of wood, 4x4. I drilled a hole 3/8 inch. I found center using my marking gauge. Okay, and then I went over to my drill press and I drilled a hole in it. I turned one of these wheels already. The next thing I did, I put the wheel on a piece of dowel rod. So my wheels will be approximately the same dimension. Now I just trace the outside of this wheel with a pencil.
Hey, Tim, is there a way you could have turned both of those wheels at the same time?
Yeah, you can. And I thought about it after after I did it. So if you're a genius like me, and instead of turning both of them at the same time like I should have, and you do it this way, this is just how I made the mistakes and went about things. So, yeah, you should turn them both the same time or same time, and it'll give you the same size wheels. But like Dane said at the beginning, this is the way I screwed up and the way I did it. I'm thinking if you guys are looking at maybe doing production of more than one, and you're trying to get things to be similar sizes without cutting it out on a bandsaw or something like that, this is a technique and a way to skin that cat. So that's one of the other reasons I did it that way, because not everybody's got the same tools in their shop that I have in my shop. So set this stuff off the side here real quick. This doggone metal, man, so you can see what's going on. Now it's now the reason I gave myself that dimension was just so I knew where to stop.
You don't need your whiteboard in there, Tim. It shows up
good.
fine without it.
Everybody can see it. Good.
Yeah, it's fine.
That was frustrating me. All right. So what I'm going to do now, make sure that everything clears. And we're just going to turn this around. Right now I'm using my bowl gouge. Little white cup. And of course, sanding and all that happy stuff, but we'll see how close we got. Yeah, it's still a little large, but you guys get the idea, right? Everybody understands the idea. So, and you know, like I believe it was Matt said, hey, you could put them both together, jam them both together, and turn them and get them to be the same size. So that's a technique also. So, then of course the final thing would be to sand them, to decorate them any way you want. I'm going to switch cameras real quick. All right, so something I was thinking about on the wheels. A lot of folks like the spoked wheels. A way to do the spoked wheels might be like this little jam chuck, like I was using, and then use your index guide on the lathe, and then everybody remembers that spiral jig that we did about last year. Okay, and just have your drill bit drill in all the way to center and come back out. Then you cut away, you know, an outer ring and have an inner ring. And then I didn't have enough time to put one together, but it was just a thought process. So there's a couple hundred different things you guys can do. You can put spokes on there. I did not go through all that again. Had other fish that I was frying and such. Anybody have any questions on this? I know it wasn't the greatest demo, but hopefully you guys can get those juices flowing.
You pulled off a nice demo on the Canon there.
Say again?
It was great.
You pulled off a very nice demonstration on your Canon there. It's a good rendition of what Martin Clarkson brought us about 8 months ago of his Party Popper Canon that started this whole craze.
Right.
So very good. Hopefully a lot of people got some ideas and some insight on that. And then so now we'll leave it open to the floor for those that have questions or comments that they would like to share and suggest.
Tim, that was a great demo. Don't put yourself down. You did fantastic.
Well, I appreciate it.
That was a good demo, Tim.
You know,
good job.
It's one of those things. I've been out of the shop for about 6 months or so, recovering from multiple surgeries. So haven't been in the shop a whole lot. And boy, I sure do need to go out there and do some Mark Soleil friggin' spindle turning and get my cuts back down again. But
it'll come once you get back out there again. But
hey, nice job, Tim.
Good.
I will tell everybody, you know, if you got some, step up a plate.
Amen.
I bought a cheap little camera and I've got an old shop computer, but we got guys that are out there doing demonstrations on iPhones, iPads, friggin' Androids. Everybody, hey, if I can do it, everybody can do it. So
right, and Tim's Army, just like Doug Rowe is, you know. So if we can get a couple old Army troops to do it, you know, so there's no excuse for anybody else.
Yep.
So, that sounded backhanded.
Hey Tim.
Hey Tim. Appreciate it. Don't forget to make a ramrod. You know, so you
us military folk can do that between the branches.
Hey, Tim.
All right, that's what I got, guys. I appreciate
you. Thank you, Tim.
Tim.
Good job, Tim.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job, Tim.
All right, folks. So like Tim was saying, anybody can do a demo, or even if all you got is a cell phone, whether it's an Android or an Apple, you can do a demo just with that cell phone. And it streams right through Zoom. There's noise canceling. I do all my demos on my cell phone, which is an Android. Doug Miller does his on an iPhone. Doug Rowe does his on his cell phone. Cade's done demos on strictly on his Android. And then if you want to upgrade to some of the cameras and the OBS and have the multiple views and whatnot, that can totally be done as well. It doesn't have to be extravagant. So again, this is Tim's first demo, first of many to come, hopefully. And with Tim stepping up, I would really love to see some more folks step up. Give some of the folks in the natural rotation an extended break, and that would be really good.
It was a cool video. It was nice demonstration for sure.
Yep, right on. Thank you. I'm sure Tim appreciates that along with the rest of the folks that enjoyed another free demo, guys. Actually, it's not free because we did have to pay Tim a little bit extra. He got triple the going rate that some of the rest of us get. So checks in the mail, brother. All right, so we have 7:53, and so I know there's some more gallery items that have popped in. So let's go back to Doug and let's go to some gallery items. Doug, what you got?
Well, I just had one here. Cade came in a while ago, and let's see.
There he is.
Well, okay, y'all seen?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
There you are.
Hey, everyone. Hope all is well.
Turkey hunter.
Yeah, a little bit out and about. I was out all week this week because today was the last day, so it was fun. I'm exhausted, but good to be back. It's been busy, lots of demos and classes on the go. So I have a couple of things to show. I haven't been around for a while, but it's good to be back. I'm not sure if I was there after my demo I did last month, but this is the live edge goblet I did in the demo with 3 captive rings.
Very nice. I remember that.
The middle ring, the wood itself is red maple. So the middle ring is red maple, and then the 2 outer rings are ash.
Very nice.
Very good.
There it is there. That was a fun project. Not quite done yet. It's not shiny enough to see myself in it yet, but it will be done shortly.
Beautiful.
So that was... Thanks. And then I have another thing here. A week after that demo, I did a demo for the Enchanted Woodturners in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I demonstrated this little hooded bowl with a lid and a finial.
Nice.
So the base is cherry. The finial is cherry to match the base of the bowl. And the lid is black walnut.
Wow.
Very
That's
nice.
Nice.
Here's the bottom. All
Love the
index
feet.
carved and blended
Beautiful.
to do the feet. And then here's the inside.
Gorgeous.
Right there.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice piece of walnut.
Yeah, it turned out really nice with the X and the cross in the top and the cherry finial centered within the
Yeah.
X.
Beautiful.
Turned out cool. So that was fun. Pardon?
I just said super good job. I love it.
That's
Thanks.
nice the way you center that finial in the grain.
Yeah. Yeah. I did plan on the grain to get that effect, but I
Yeah, that's
didn't
what I was
know that the grain would be perfectly centered to when I drill the finial. So it was a happy coincidence, right? A design opportunity that turned out. So
We know you planned it that way.
Yep, definitely. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
And then I like to leave a little lip so it's not totally recessed below the lip. That way you can have some separation between the 2 concave surfaces. The right angle separates the 2 rather than it being too flush or too domed or whatnot. just the slight details that sometimes add to the pieces we make. My club, we had a 2x4 challenge for our last meeting, which was 2 weeks ago. So it was pretty fun. The rules were you could use any 2x4, hardwoods or softwoods. There would be a People's Choice Award, which would be awarded from the members who came in. They'd each get a ballot, and they would pick the piece that they liked the best. There was a flat work and a turning category. So there was first, second, and third for flat work, first, second, and third for turning. But there was also an award called the Golden Stud Award, which was the best piece made out of SPF building material. So being the president of that club, I figured I had to participate and get people engaged and want to participate in the event. We had several vendors and lumber yards around the area donate prizes. We had all kinds of epoxy stuff and colors and dyes and aniline dyes and finial blanks, pen blanks, gift certificates with 15% off. The lumberyard donated some saw blades, some router bits, a wide variety of things, some pepper mills blanks, box blanks, bowl blanks. So it was fun. It was great. And we had like a potluck sweets and savory with coffee and tea for that last night. So it was a good social event. So I made 2 pieces. The rules were you could use one 2x4, 8 feet long, and you can make as many entries as you like. So I did 2 out of the one 2x4, and I used SPF building materials. So the first piece I made was a little decorative box here. Now this is 3 pieces of 2x4 that are laminated together. On the lid, you can see the grain match.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Well, there's the grain match of the 3 different pieces of 2x4. The finial is also 2x4. Now we know how 2x4 moves and constantly moves. So I urged everybody to get their 2x4s, get them in their houses, their wood shops, whatnot, to climatize to the climate before you joint, plane it, glue it together and whatnot, or turn it, because all wood moves, especially 2x4s. Also try and get a piece that didn't have the pith within it. So this was 3 pieces of 2x4 glued together. The finial had cracks in it. And as I turned it away, I was like, come on, keep going, come on, get rid of the cracks. And then eventually I couldn't get rid of the cracks. So rather than fill the crack with sawdust and super glue, which actually amplifies the defect, I decided to do something to make it more of a feature rather than a defect. So a week before, I did a project for a guy who's a trapper and a fur trader, and he had some walrus tusks that he wanted made into stuff. Now, a walrus tusk is not actually a tusk. It's not protected, endangered, or on the CITES list. It's actually the canine tooth of the walrus. So he came to me and he wanted a pen made with a nautical pen. He wanted an air freshener, and he wanted like a box with a medallion in it. So I made those, and I kept all the walrus tusk dust. So what I did was I took that bone dust and I filled the cracks with bone dust to make it white accent fill to the cracks and the defects within the finial. And that was probably the most time-consuming part of the whole piece, including the hollowing of the box. So that's the box I made. That one didn't win any awards, but the next piece I made did. So I'll show you this piece now. Now this one I did. Pardon?
Those two knots on that box there look like they're 3D, four-dimensional.
Yes, and they almost look like eyes.
Yes. Eyes.
It's an alien.
Eye.
Little alien. Or a kid show. Some of those funny looking cartoons or Muppets with the weird heads
Right.
and the
Yeah.
things on.
The little ants.
Yeah. Little ant or a little bug type thing. The other side only has a couple small ones, but it was
Yeah.
pretty cool how it turned out. I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I had those on the opposite side so it didn't affect any of the glue ups. And I also had a crack in the bottom here, and I filled that with the walrus dust too. Walrus dust. Say that 5 times.
Right. Stay at it. Yeah. After doing shots.
So the second piece I made for the challenge was a Victorian style OG bowl with a lid and a finial. And this piece is so light, it weighs absolutely nothing. So here's the under part, and then here's the lid with the finial.
Nice.
Now this is 5 pieces of 2x4 laminated together. And we can see those there.
Oh my goodness.
Typical shiny finish I could shave in, which I did the other day. Makes me look 20 years younger. But, so that's the inside. And then here's the lid.
Oh,
The
beautiful.
lid and the bowl are both turned to a 1/16 of an inch wall thickness. And then the finial, it also has a grain match on top because I cut the top from the piece of wood. So we have a grain match here.
Mm.
Super.
And then the finial is also 2x4 that I had left over. And it also had cracks in it that I was wishing and hoping would disappear as I turned it, but it never did. So it has walrus tusk dust in it as well.
Okay.
And this piece won first place in the turning category, but it also won the Golden Stud Award for the best of SPF. So I guess for a day I was a golden stud.
There you go.
All right. So it was
Very
fun.
nice.
It was very cool to do.
Go ahead and get that brass.
Nice
beam
piece.
made up.
And
That
the
might
bowl-
qualify you for the 2x4 club.
yeah,
So
2x4 club.
Well,
Um,
that's really pretty, actually. I mean, there's nothing to laugh about there.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Thanks.
that's beautiful.
Nice
Yes,
job.
it
Dave.
is.
So that, I don't know, I think my wife already claimed it. Otherwise, it was going to go into a gallery. Everything I make, even my demonstration pieces get sold. But
That's
I
always
was
a good
claiming-
thing when the wife claims it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then last but not least, since we stopped for the year, I wanted to get some wig stands in. So I had some spindles that I did entry-level beginner multi-axis turning demonstration for our club here. Probably a year ago or a year and a half ago, I did the multi-axis turning, and then Dane made some multi-axis spindle ladles after Land's demo, and then I made a few as well. So here's the wig stands. I turned all 4
Oh
of
my
these
goodness.
in a morning.
Nice.
So the top and the bottom are brown maple. Night, Martin. Take care. These are all turned on multi-axis, but on this one, I rode the bevel a little harder than usual to make the wood flex, actually making my spindle gouge a chatter tool. So you can see some of the texture in there on the
love it.
spindles.
Yeah.
caused
Oh,
by
wow.
The cutting and
I've
the
done that.
chatter
I've done that
effect.
unintentionally a couple times.
and it makes them shell-like. So yeah, you can do it accidentally, but you can also do it on purpose, which gives a little bit of texture, makes them look shell-like. So olive ash and then brown maple. This is another one I did. And this one doesn't have the chatter marks on it, so I floated the bevel. It also depends how thin you go in between each accent, because the thinner you go, the more you ride that bevel, it's going to flex on you. So as you go thinner, you need to float that bevel so you don't have so much pressure on the wood that it's flexing and creating that chatter effect. Again, olive ash and brown maple on the top and bottom. Not quite finished yet because I can't see myself in them.
Okay. Hey, how tall are they from top to bottom?
They are, let me get my tape measure somewhere. And then when I can't find it, I always have a spare one up here. And then I think I have one by my chop saw, one by my bandsaw, because, you know, when you ever need
We
it,
all
you never find one.
We all do.
So they are 13 3/4 inch height, roughly.
Okay.
14 inches in height.
The dome up there is what, about 5 inches?
Yes, the dome on top is, on this one is 4 inches. On this one is 5 inches. Now you don't want it any bigger than 5 inches because the crown of a wig can stretch.
Right, of course. Right.
Yeah, so 5 inches maximum, anywhere between 3.5 to 5. And if it's a children's wig, it's around 3 to 4 inches in diameter for the top dome.
Let's not even go there.
Yeah, it's true. It's very sad. And then the base is anywhere from 5 to 6 inches diameter. And they're both 2-inch stock, 2-inch stock.
Good.
The spindle is 2-inch square by 11 inches in height.
Good. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. This is another one I did with the multi-access with the V beads. And these ones I did where you have it on and you can move one axis, or you can move the other axis, or you can move both to get different effects on one edge versus the other, which I did with all 3 of these. I used a different technique for each one of them. And then the final one I did parallel off center to create a ribbon, or almost, I call it my mustache. So this one is here. This is the one with the ribbon, which is also a little mustache.
There you go.
There we are. And that is turned on one axis to make the cylinder, and then 2 axes parallel to create the ribbons on either side.
That's cool.
That's also how they do the bodies, busts, and female figures in that sort of application, with a mixture of other multi-axis turning techniques. And then there's the top and bottom. And that's all I have for show and tell. I had a few things because I haven't been around for a couple weeks, but yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Great job, Cade.
Excellent stuff, Kate.
Beautiful
Thank
stuff
you.
like always.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Cheers, mate.
Mr. Birdhouse, what you got for us?
Oh, let's see here. Got this light off. Got a yarn bowl I did for one of my neighbors out of walnut.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Turned out pretty good. And I've got this piece
Oh
I did with another piece of walnut, and I
That is cool.
textured it and used those Josiah paints. I like them. Y'all probably
you
get
do,
tired
don't
of
you?
seeing me do those, but
You ought to
And
get some
that's,
stuff.
uh,
Lasagna.
that's violet, turquoise, and blue.
Was the texture done with a Dremel or a
No, it's
angle?
done with a, what's it? a cutting burr, a round burr,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like it cuts all or
and
A stump,
sander
a
with a
stump
flat
cut, are you using
sander.
a stump, using a stump cutter on those, a sphere stump cutter?
or a bullnose cutter.
It's a, I don't know, it's a round cutter that they use in my Fordham tool.
Cool.
So it's a sphere, okay,
Yep.
But,
very nice,
Yeah.
Bob.
It looks
that's why,
great.
this is my bird bath.
There you go. Bird bath.
Hey,
Yeah,
Bob,
nice,
but
nice,
I-
Bob.
that they were volunteering you to do a demo on texturing.
Yeah,
Sounds
maybe in
good.
maybe in July. I've got
Sounds-
some surgery
sounds good.
coming up next. I got some surgery coming up next Wednesday, so after I get over that, I'll be glad to.
Good luck
And
with
Bob's
that.
already in contact about a future demo.
Good.
Got stuff
Okay.
going on.
Thanks, Bob.
But yeah, as soon as I get over that, I'll be glad to.
Wonderful.
With texturing, it's sort of, you come out with what you come out, and that's what you planned.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
like
you never know how the wood's going to react.
Yeah,
it.
that's how you planned it to come out.
That's the story. You're sticking to it. I like it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what
Thanks,
I got
Bob.
for tonight.
Beautiful stuff.
Well, thank you. I enjoy doing it.
All right, folks. Still got a little bit of time here to share some gallery items. Looks like we
Howard's
got Henry up there. What you got there, buddy?
Howard, you're up.
Howard?
Get you off mute. There we go.
Did you say Henry or Howard?
Howard.
It was a
Oh, okay.
cross between Henry and Howard.
Yeah, well, it don't matter. Just call me anything. My wife calls me. Just calls me everything.
Just call you for supper, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a vase that I
Oh
made.
my goodness.
Wow.
And it's made out of maple. And it kind of represents, when I was growing up, I did lots of camping. I think I spent more time in a tent sleeping bag than I did in my bedroom in bed. But lots of time in the evening when the sun's starting to set, you look out over the lake and you look through the rushes and the weeds and stuff with the water reflecting behind it. So anyway, that's what that's supposed to kind of look like,
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
It's really, really cool.
But it's
Howard.
a save. I saved this. I got the outside form real good and what I like about the base and pedestal and got it all sanded up. And I reversed, chucked it, and started drilling several holes through it to help open it up where I could be easier to haul out. And my last bit was a 2-inch bit that I was going through, and I don't know what I was thinking about, but I went right through the base, went right through the bottom of this.
Oh.
So it sat in the shop for a while and I kept thinking about it. So what I did was I reversed it, put it on a cold jaws and got it centered on a steady rest. And I put the wheels of the steady rest right here on the slope to hold it in.
Yeah.
And I got it pretty close round. And then I cleaned up this hole in the bottom of it and inserted another piece of maple and then turned this pedestal on it. So actually this is 2 pieces, but it's.
But we never would have known that if you hadn't told us that.
I think that's a happy recovery.
That was a
very
nice
nice.
save.
Definitely.
Very good.
Howard,
Burned on
Just
there or
gorgeous.
painted on
Howard,
there
did you-
or what?
Do what?
How did you get the dark brown on there?
The what?
The
The
dark
dark
brown.
brown? Oh, I burned it, a Stefan, all over it. I drew these out, then burned it with a
Oh, okay.
1.5
That's really pretty.
millimeter ball burner. tips.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
Oh,
so
good.
I don't know.
Get some texture too.
I
Yeah.
think this is cool.
Just gives texture to it.
Now,
And
what's inside?
I coated the inside, especially on my joint. On the inside of my joint, I had mixed up some sawdust and glue and got it sealed inside. And then to really camouflage it, I spray painted the inside black. So if anybody, get to
They
wondering
can't
about
see
it. Yeah. So anyway, that's a save. So
That is
I'm happy with it.
gorgeous.
Howard,
cool.
could you post that under the recovery project post and explain what you did to it to save it?
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be great. That's a good piece.
Is that on the Is that on your Facebook or?
Yeah, it's on the Facebook page. I think
Okay.
it posted on Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sure.
That is awesome.
Beautiful.
How many
Thank you.
hours in it? How long did it take with all the burning and pyrography?
Oh, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of discussing. It was going to be going for the burn pile, but before I thought about it, I had too much invested in the shape. I thought the shape was pretty good on it. So, you hate to lose it. Of course, I could have
That looks great.
could put a mouthpiece on it, made a trumpet out of it,
Yeah.
Cool.
looks really
I
good.
think it works better
Very
with the
nice.
pedestal you put on there like that. It's a really nice piece, Howard.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that pedestal.
Yeah.
That is sweet.
Okay. Thank you.
It fits. Good job, sir.
Thank you, Alan.
Mm-mm-mm.
Got one more here, and well, I don't know, maybe some others will jump in. If I can, there it goes. We were getting ready to leave for a week of vacation. The day before, my wife says, we got somebody leaving the rehab hospital. So she wanted a pen or a bowl or something that she could give this fellow. Well, she really wanted a pen. But I didn't know what I had. I had no clue. So when we got home Sunday, Monday morning, I guess it was, Monday afternoon, I went down and I did a little bit of inventory and I checked it out and showed her what I had. And she selected a chrome Wall Street 2 pen and said, can you put some kind of a burl on it? So there you go.
Oh,
That's what she
nice.
does.
Very nice.
Nice pen.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice piece of Ambonia burl. I was playing an eBay game and came across this stuff, and I got these for $3 or $4 a blank, which is cheap for Ambonia burl.
Yeah.
And she picked
Yeah,
the
it is.
chrome. I was gonna put that in gold, but she picked the chrome, and it came out quite nice. So people say it takes so long to turn something, or it takes so much time. Pens don't take a lot of time. They're pretty simple and easy. They are skill builders. I started doing pens now. The only thing I use is a skew as far as my tooling goes. I was using a bowl gouge. I've gone to using a skew simply because it's good practice with the skew. Keeps my muscle memory on that little booger in line. And it's quick. The skew is quick. Now, I did not use my normal finish on that. That's got Parfait 3408. And then I used my abrasive paste and wax on top of that. So the finish feels, that is just silky smooth. It's just phenomenal. So I'm really
Nice
tickled with it.
choice.
Looks great.
Nice job,
Well,
Doug.
Thank you. That's all I've got tonight. Anybody else? Just jump right
Well,
in.
I saw Joaquin pop in, and so 9 times out of 10, I would imagine there's something coming out of Corpus Christi. Go down to Joaquin, see what he's got.
Joaquin.
What's he hiding?
There you are. You're muted, Joaquin. There you go.
Oh, we got you.
Okay. I'm out here in the shop on this thing. I can't get myself spotlighted.
We can see.
And
You're spotlighted.
because of me.
Gotcha.
Am I spotlighted for y'all?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Last week we talked about Morse Taper 2 cleaning and how that they don't make the green weenie anymore. And I happen to have a green weenie. And as somebody mentioned, a gun barrel cleaner. And I suggested it's a 1/2 inch copper fitting cleaning brush, which this is an old one that I have. Let's see. Because I was a pipe fitter, did a lot of copper work. And it just doesn't have a great handle or anything on it. But then there's one from Home Depot. You can get this one from Home Depot, like so. You get this one at the plumb supply. And so they need to go, according to this Morse taper I got, about all the way to the handle to do his cleaning. And they're kind of loose right here at the very beginning. And but then they get tight. But I turn the lathe on and just run it in and out. Clean that Morse taper. Of course, over here on my tailstock, I'm going to be going back and forth. The only one that you got to be turned one direction like it's fun, or you unwind that or mess up the brushes on it. And I do also have the gun barrel brush.
It's handy.
I put a handle on it. Yeah, but it's not long enough with that handle to go as deep as I need to go. So, well, heck.
You can turn a aluminum extender.
Yeah, well, I ended up getting a
or a
rod
force
coupler
extension. Yeah.
This is a rod coupler to put in my drill.
Oh, right on.
So I've got my drill, so I can run up and down in here in my drill. And do that over here also on the tailstock. And,
Easy
and I like the brass better than these, but I know of guys who have never cleaned their Morse taper on their lathe since they had the lathe. And here's some simple things that we can do. You don't have to have the green weenie to do this. There's other ways to do it. And so for you new guys out there not aware of this and what you can do, I just want to share it. And that's all I got for tonight, Dane.
Wow, that's very good. Thanks.
How's
for
it
sharing
coming in, though?
Thanks for
the
sharing.
future? I'm sorry,
So thank you for sharing.
Dane.
Yes, go ahead. What?
Question then.
I can't hear that.
Why
I wanted to do this. You got me.
Go ahead.
You got me scheduled for a demo on the 21st.
Yes.
And so I don't know how this is coming out, whether it's okay or not.
It's coming out.
It's not going to be a good location to do my demo.
Looks good, man.
Camera looks good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your sound is good. Video quality is good. No worries. And then when the time comes, when you're ready to spin something up on the lathe, just give me a shout and we can do FaceTime and we can, double check the camera positioning and whatnot. Once you got your piece up on the lathe there, make sure everything's in there and we got the positioning down to where it'll come through good for the meeting.
I got another thing I want to share.
Yeah.
I got something else I want to share, but I got to do it on my computer in the house.
Okay.
It's on the tenant thing. Okay. So I'm going to move to the house.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to you then. A few minutes. You got to log back in or? Probably.
Yeah.
That's good.
On that note, I have a couple brushes I use for cleaning my tailstock. I think I got them at Home Depot or Home Hardware. I've seen them at Walmart as well. But here they are here. They're just basic brushes. They come in different diameters. You can get them in different stiffnesses. You can get them in brass, soft metal, or this is like a hard, almost like a hard, I don't know what type of material, but it's almost like plastic-like, coarse plastic. And it works great. It's long enough to get in there. Just give them a clean. So they work well. I also have the metal one and the shotgun one that Joaquin uses. They also work really well. I didn't think about throwing it in a drill though, so that's pretty handy. I'll have to try that.
Especially for the tailstock. Yep. Yep.
Why does that need to be cleaned out? What gets in there?
It'll
Yeah.
put your
Just dirt and
center
grime.
off slightly, so your centers won't be perfect. It might be off a fraction of a millimeter or so. And it can throw it out of center slightly.
You get shop dust and debris on your tools. It gets in there.
Okay.
And
Never
if you
thought of
turn
that.
wet wood, it'll dry and solidify, almost like a pine pitch or something in there that can put it off.
Right. And then for all you folks, that are in high humidity areas, when you're turning wet wood or you're spraying down with water to raise the grain on your wood, that moisture, it travels. And when that moisture gets on that metal, it's gonna create a little bit of rust in there, even though it's going to be very minute. And that soft brush, the soft metal brush, will remove that rust and or any glue or CA or oil finish that gets in there and dries up, and it will take that off no problem, but it won't scratch or leave serrations on the actual Morse taper itself. So that's why you always want to clean your Morse tapers.
Actually, I think I got that at Princess Auto. I think you guys got Princess Auto down there, don't you? It's fairly
No.
inexpensive. Oh, no? Okay.
Yeah, we got O'Reilly's and AutoZone and Napa and
Ace
Bella's,
Hardware and yeah,
Bass
they'll
Pro
all.
Shops, Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's probably don't sell anything gun related anymore. So
Yeah.
No, but Cabela's.
yeah, I use a shotgun. I use a shotgun bore brush on mine as well. Works wonderfully.
Yeah.
Well, Dane, that's
It's
all
just
I've
hard
got. So if you got anything else, go right ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, if we've still got a little bit of time, folks, we got another 30 minutes before we're going to wrap things up. So if you want to get something in gallery, I know the last couple meetings we've shortchanged a few members because we just had so much going on with the various gallery items, and we had some really good demos that we wanted to get in, and a lot of questions and answers about said demos. So I know some of the folks missed out. So if you want to pull up your pieces, throw it in the chat, and we'll come back to you. But in the meantime, let's go back to Joaquin.
Hold on,
Joaquin is back.
I'm not on. I got to get on the computer.
Oh, okay.
I'll be
All
right. Just as soon
Hey,
as I can.
Dane,
Sounds good.
don't let them forget. At the end of the month, we got that turning thing, and we all need to be. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of June, we have our Canon challenge where we're making, let's what was the slogan Eddie used? It escapes me. But we got the Canon challenge for the party poppers. It's the last weekend of June, right before the 4th of July. So let's bring back fire for the country. Something along those lines. And then let's not forget, we still got stickers on par. We're still doing 10 stickers for $5. We've got over 1,300 stickers left. The details are on the webpage, worldwidewoodturns.org. $5 will get you 10. Another $1 will get them shipped overseas. We've got stickers popping up everywhere. Show your support
Order mine.
for your club.
Yeah, I got a quick little thing I could show with to go with our Canon. We showed our demo earlier. A few variations on how I've done it.
Sweet.
All right,
I'll
let's,
bring it up there.
we'll come to you here in a minute, but Matt, go
You
ahead.
got
You're
me?
up. Hold on a minute, Terry.
All right, these are
Yeah,
pieces
Matt.
I've had sitting around a while. But this is a piece I show. This is just a little like 5-inch platter, and is made from an 1.5-inch thick board. And I used a very small tenon on or recess on the back. But I wanted to. I use this as an example piece to show you what you can do to hide your recess. And really snaz up the base of your piece. And this is using these are burn blinds, and they're using those, acrylic sampler deals that you get at the big box stores. You make a little groove with a skew or something, and then push it in there and turn the lathe up so it burns the lines.
Formica?
Yeah. So it is a piece of maple. And a couple of years ago, my club had Harvey Meyer in to do a demo, and he didn't do a basket weave illusion piece. He did these sorts of boxes, and this is the box I made from that demo, and it's got OGs in it, and this is an old piece of box elder I had laying around the shop, and I put some texturing and filled it with embellishing wax on the inside. And one of the things that Harvey likes to show in the demos is he likes to have the finial coming through the bottom a little bit, coming through the bottom of the lid, so that you've got the contrasting wood showing in there. But I really like this because of all the OGs and stuff on it. It's in really nice shape. And it was very fun to do, and I got a lot out of the demo when he made it. So anyway, I could show those while we wait for other people to come in. So
all right. So hey, Matt, on your first piece there, you said hide your recess. I think that's the wrong terminology. Hiding.
All right. Well,
it starts with an H, but it's highlight the recess, not hide.
Sure. What I want to do with these is I want them to not be apparent that that's how the piece was held, whether it's a tenon or a recess. I want to snaz that up, and I've said this 100 times, but when somebody, if you're at an art show or a craft show or whatever, and you got your stuff on the table, if somebody likes a piece, first thing they're going to do is pick it up and look at the bottom. I want to make an impression with that.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's the second thing they're going to look at.
Yep.
The first thing is going to be the finish, and then they're going to pick it up, and then they're going to look at the bottom.
Yep.
So good.
And this one is just, basically what I did is I cleaned it up and rounded. This is rounded, right? Yeah. So I guess you can't really see all that well, but it's certainly not apparent that that's how the piece was held. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the majority of my pieces, that's what I do is I make it a ring pedestal.
Yep.
Definitely.
And I'll sometimes just concave them, or I do that a lot. There's a lot of ways you can really snaz up your recess or your tenon, so it's not apparent that that's what it was.
Right. Yeah, a lot of times. Folks,
you're right. Hiding is not the right word.
Yeah. Yeah. When they're picking my piece up, they'll say like, well, did you use, and it's another turner. Did you use a glue block on that? I'm like, no, I don't use glue blocks. Not unless it's a special piece of wood. So just leave it.
Yeah, I do have glue blocks, but I don't use them. But I don't use them much either.
Yep. Very good.
Well, and another thing to show from this is, this was an 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches thick piece of wood. You can make stuff out of stuff that's that thin. And this is probably a scrap from a cabinet person or something. A piece of nice hardwood. And you can't really, in this light, you can't really see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's got some chatoyance in the maple. It's really nice.
Nice curl in it. Yep. Very good. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
All right, Doug, can we go to Terry and then from Terry go to Joaquin?
Okay. I was just going to put in a couple of pointers on our demonstration that we had. I went to of course, Martin had a whole different plan. He was doing off center on the wheels, but I just used some store-bought wheels that I had laying around. But when I made the cannon, one of the things that Martin does, I think, is he doesn't like to put that ball on there so he can get to the bottom further, so that when he puts his popper in, it comes through and he drills a little bigger hole, I think, so he can get a hold of the string.
Yep.
And I kind of like the look of that, but I do have trouble getting a hold of the string. So what I did, and I got the kids all doing it too, is I put a straw on the string because it's nice and slick. And then just put the straw in the cannon
Hold it closer to the camera.
and push it through and pull the straw out. And I got my string, so I don't have to try to spit on it and make it hard and try to get it down through the hole. And
Fish
that
it
works
out.
pretty good. And it came out pretty good. The kids were all doing it. They were little, so I guess it worked. But anyway, this is one of the things I wanted to show. This is just a block of wood. Can you see the lines on it there? I think you can
Yes.
see them.
Mhm.
I got a line down through the center of it, and then I got the line measuring it. And I think it's like 2.5 inches or whatever it needs to be. Then I drilled 1.5 inch hole in it. At first, I was trying to make them crooked to set on a cradle. But then I just took the 1.5 inch hole and I put 1.5 inch band around the center of the cannon. And then just stuck a little glue on it and stuck it in there. And after I did it, I drilled a hole straight through here to put my dowel rod through for the axles. And it was real quick. And some of them I even made wheels of different sizes, which I've gotten so that wheels are pretty easy to make. But for 20 cents a piece, it's kind of easy to buy them too. But I just had a bunch that somebody donated, but they're all 2x4s, all they are. Then I made a little plunger rod to go
Mhm.
with them.
Very
But
cool.
that's just for decoration. You don't need it. I mean, but they come out pretty good like that. But there's so many different ways to do it. I've seen 10 different ways and they're all good.
Yeah.
And I just thought I'd show that with the straws kind
good,
of helped
Terry.
out a lot.
Nice haircut too.
Very nice.
We won't talk about the reason that we got a haircut. It was a sad affair.
Nice
no.
tip,
Funeral.
Terry.
Yeah, it was for a funeral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
This is in.
let's see. All right, we're good. Okay, I want to go back to the tenon. I totally agree with everything we've discussed on the tenon. I don't know how many tenon seminars I've been to, and we talk about when we put a tenon on, we don't want it to hit the back of the jaws.
Mhm.
Exactly, no matter what. But no one ever says you can make a tenon that does hit the back of the jaws. You take, before the pandemic, I was pretty much a production turner for myself, nothing like Cade, Scott, or Martin, but the fastest way I could do stuff. When I make Christmas trees, this tenon was about 1 inch long and it hit the back of the jaws. Maybe it wasn't that long. I left enough space when I got through turning this, all I had to do is part it off, sand it, and I was done. And like finials, if I've got a round piece of wood, I just slam it up to the back of the jaws and turn it. And I don't know, I've never had a problem with that unless I just got too wild and crazy. And I don't know if I'm causing controversy here or people disagree with that, but I've got a little, where is the share screen? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is Richard Raffner. He's doing a video on the bow gouges. And this is his take on that.
Now, I'm just going to get another foot on this, slightly deeper foot, and then we'll turn it around and have a look at the internal side. It's a half-inch triple gouge again, on its side into the corner, and then I pivot it on its nose and just move the tool back. And provided I've got a nice little corner in there where I've marked it with a pencil, the chuck jaws will snack into there, or the base here will go into the bottom of the chuck, and that will ensure the thing's running true. You don't need to have a flat surface at the top of the foot for face work anyway.
And so I don't know how many of
That's-
y'all agree
But
with
that's
that.
what that 90, but that union he's making with that 90 right there, that's what's seating against the top of the jaws.
No, it ain't.
Well, he also says that he also said there that his jaws will be gripping inside that little cavity he made right where those two surfaces come together.
Yeah, but it's
So
going to
I'm-
be at the back of the jaws. It's going to,
Well,
square is going to be at the back of the jaws.
he did say that, you're right, but it doesn't look like it's deep enough to be buried in the back of the jaws. Because he's also talking about the top of his jaws are going to be in that little crack.
Okay,
You follow
what
me?
is wrong with doing that?
Well, it's you can get away with that. I mean, I turn things where I hold it in the little where the inside bit of the jaws come together. You know what I'm saying? Like not the jaws themselves, but that little, like I don't know what it is. It's 3/4 of an inch diameter. I've turned things where I'm just holding it by that. But you can't if you turn a large thing that you could then you where you've got a lot of where the wood is exerting a lot of leverage on the tool, you get even the slightest bit of catch or whatever, and it's going to pop it out of the jaws.
What is the difference? And it's seated up right there on the face of the jaws, then at the back of them. The leverage pull is the same.
Yeah, but if it's seated up against the top of the face there, and if let's say you're using, are your jaws square or are they dovetailed?
Mine are square.
Okay, well that's a difference too, because like mine are dovetailed and they've got that little hook, the Nova jaws do.
Yeah.
And if they're grabbing on the inside of there, then it'll keep it in the jaws. But if you've got square jaws, then it's a different ball game.
I don't see how it is. If the taper's the same, if this is a 1/4 inch away from the face of them jaws and it's butted up on the back, I see no problem. That's just me, my opinion, I think.
It also depends on the diameter of the bowl. The larger the diameter of the bowl, the more force on the outer rim, which would be more likely to give that leverage to pop it out of the chuck. But with a smaller diameter bowl and a larger tenon, you can be bottomed out and you don't have that leverage because the rim of your bowl is closer to the outer diameter of the rim of your tenon.
Well,
so it all depends on the application as well, but it can leverage it to pop it out depending on the catch or the presentation of the tool.
But I got 4 inch, 5 inch, and 6 inch jaws. I'm not going to use a little tenon on a big bowl.
Yeah, I know. So
maybe I'm missing something. So let me just ask if I'm hearing it right. So are we saying what Richard is saying is to have the bottom of the tenon bottom out at the bottom of the chuck?
I'm saying that's okay. I don't see a problem with it. If
but you can get away with that with a small piece. Certainly you can do it. I mean, we've all done it. Or most of us have done it.
I can't get by with it with 5 inch jaws on a bigger bow.
Yeah, you can.
I see what Joaquin is saying, and I think I've got to agree with him.
I just don't see a mechanical difference. People telling me that I've got to be shouldered up here because I knew guys with your jaws being shouldered up there. When their faces, their jaws got messed up, they took them to the machine shop and had them face true with their chuck, so that this would be all true with the lathe, the center perpendicular off of it. But if this tenon was another 1/2 inch long or whatever, and to the back of that, I don't see a problem myself.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And
think about
so
how.
I have to agree with that. So hold on, Matt. So if you've got, whether you got a dovetail or you got straight jaws, and you've got a perfectly flat tenon base that's going in flat against the bottom of the jaws, provided you're not doing anything to make a catch and force that tenon through, which would be improper.
Yeah,
you can get away with it.
Then yeah, absolutely. Joaquin's absolutely right. It would work, and it would make no difference even if you had, even with our air pillow. If you were to get a catch, that thing is still going to come out and it's not going to be, it's either going to pop out of the chuck, it's going to break the tenon, or it's going to be out around one of those three options. So you're going to have the same three alternatives, whether it's seated flat against it or not.
But one of the things I've done to test this,
If that makes sense.
I've had a 3-inch diameter cylinder that had this on it. Then I had one that was straight, put them in the jaws and hit them with a hammer with great force and didn't knock either one of them out. And just to prove myself, it's just, all I'm saying is that we tell people they have to do this, period. And I'm saying, no, you don't, if you know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, if you know
Well,
what
but see,
you're
that's
doing,
that's part
but
of
I
the
wouldn't
difference there. I
recommend
mean,
beginner doing that.
That's the whole key. If you know what you're doing, I think Mr. Raffin is referring to people who are relatively new at turning, and he's trying to make them have success. And so that this success is what he's concerned with, not the fact that, oh, sure, there's a lot of things you can get away with, and if you're an experienced turner, you can, but if you're not, you're going to have trouble.
Well, he's still old school. I mean, he doesn't use all the fancy tools. He still uses scrapers. I mean,
spindle gouge.
Unbelievable.
Well, I picked up on
some of his techniques I love watching, and I've tried to imitate. Yeah, the way he used a spindle gouge on the inside of a bowl is really kind of extraordinary.
Man.
Yeah, but it's,
and then what's his reasoning for using the spindle gouge for bowl turning?
Well, it's
He's
totally,
faster.
totally doable.
No, it's because it's a cheaper tool compared to a bowl gouge. It doesn't cost as much. And he says that,
and that's what he has sitting on his rack. Yep.
And it's totally doable as long as you present it correctly, cut with the proper part of the tool and ride the bevel.
Yep.
But if you don't, hold on.
Yeah, right.
With his stew, how many are up to what Cade can do with a stew? I mean,
and if you want to go that way with the skew, you could look at what Steve Jones does. That Wood Turner 21. He's amazing.
Yeah.
A wood turner.
What I would suggest, Joaquin, what I would suggest is try to look at it from an engineering standpoint about where the fulcrums are, where things are where the forces are being applied. Okay. So if you've got it bottomed in the bottom of the jaws, and there's nothing holding it onto the face is not touching. Okay. Yeah. If you pull that laterally, then it can pull off of the bottom of the chuck. Does that make sense?
Don't agree. I just told you I didn't, and hit it with a hammer, and they stayed, and I hit them pretty hard. And I
hear you. I do
not see the difference in the fulcrum point because it's a gap or not a gap. Just me.
Well, the point is if there's no gap and you get that same force, it's going to be pushing against the top of the jaws. And that top of the jaws and the rest of the jaws are locking it into the jaws. But if you have the gap, it doesn't have that same, maybe it's an infinitesimal little bit of a difference. Maybe it's just a little bit more riskier to do it the way you're suggesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and did you smack it with a hammer when it was turning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you smack it when it was turning or when it was sitting still? That's going to make the torsion's going to make a big difference too.
I started to have that ready to dimple that tonight. But I just didn't have and we always talk about this, but we don't tell the other, that you can, but maybe everybody's afraid to do it that way or taught different. And being self-taught, I probably didn't know better, just did it.
No,
well, I do know. I've been teaching a lot of beginners, and I do know that if you don't get that flush on top of the jaws, it comes out of the chuck awful easy.
Mm.
Yeah, I know when I started out, I was trying to get them so that the base of my tenon was against the bottom of the chuck, as well as on the face of the jaw. And I know I threw an awful lot of bowls in those early days. that I don't do, I rarely throw one now. And I have an air gap at the bottom always now. So I don't know. I'm saying I don't know.
I do on my bowls.
Mhm.
All this other stuff, finials and trees and stuff, they go to the bottom and move on,
Right, right.
Well, and it's, I mean, I certainly do that too, Joaquin. I mean, I got a round piece of wood and I'm just sticking it in the jaws. I'm not turning that face or, a little tenon that's even a slight bit smaller. I'm just sticking a round piece of wood in the jaws.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And it's bottomed out at the bottom of the jaws. And I've held things by the ends of those jaws, those bits that are down inside the chuck, not by the jaws themselves, but by the little bits on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
However, what is
the
that,
more you
3/4 inch
turn,
radius or whatever?
you're going to stay on your tailstock as long as you can,
Right.
Anyway, I just want to throw it out, guys.
Good food for thought. Real good food for thought. We got one more that would like to share with us. Glenn, as soon as I find you, I'll pull you up. Should be right there.
Hey, what's the being asked in the chat about the demo for next week? Can anybody, Dane, do you know what the demo is?
Yes, I do.
Would you care to share that with us?
No, I will not.
Okay.
Way to go.
Top secret.
Show up and find out.
Right.
What you got, Glenn?
Okay.
My responses in the chat.
I've got a little crotch bowl I had turned. This from a oak tree from my front yard, and it's about 3 inches on the inside diameter, and the wings are about 1/4 inch thick. So I tried to get the radius here and here try to get them to match pretty close.
Nice job.
That's pretty.
And that's just a piece of oak from my tree in the front. So, and then I had a couple of years ago, we had one of our members in our club that was selling a lot of his stuff he couldn't turn anymore. So I had bought a piece of the red mallee burl, and I wanted to leave as much of the points on the outside. So I just turned the bowl and turned the inside. I'm not real happy with the finish yet. There's some shiny spots. I need to redo the finish, but I tried to leave as much of the points on the outside and try to get, I think I had depending on where some places are real thin, it might be about an 1/8 inch thick, 1/16 inch thick in some spots. The rest of it's pretty thick. But then
Hey, Glenn, if you get frustrated with that, you can send it to me and I'll look it up for you. I'll send it back to you too.
Okay. And
It's a
then
beautiful piece of wood.
I had turned a couple of, I wanted to do like a little base for it, a foot. I turned this one out of maple. It's about 1 inch tall, and I dyed it with black leather dye. And then I had even turned another one out of some walnut, and I asked some suggestions at the club what they thought, which one was
Like
some like
black.
the short one, some like the taller one, and so
I like the taller
then
one.
something. Pardon?
I like the taller one.
Oh,
Me
okay.
too. Or you could even go taller.
I like the shorter one. Just to make
You know what, Glenn? If you know what, you should do a third one that's more of an hourglass shape.
Like 4 inches tall?
Well, not necessarily. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe do 4 of them, different
Yeah.
shapes, but like an hourglass shape.
Do what
What's
makes you
the-
happy, Glenn.
What's the height of the bowl?
I think it ought to be quartered.
The thickness of the bowl is probably about 1.5 inches, maybe. Inch and
Yeah.
a
So
quarter.
about 3 3/4.
Yeah, if I
three and
did
a
a,
half.
when I do a foot, I always incorporate the golden rule. So the foot
Yep.
maximum height would be 1/3 to the overall height of the bowl, if I'm looking at height. But also diameter as well. The
Or vice
diameter of the
versa.
foot would be 1/3 of the total diameter of the rim of the bowl as well. But I mean, it's all a matter of interpretation, and I
Right.
mean, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So whatever
Yeah.
you do it for you. And I mean, there's always going to be someone out there that likes it and will buy it anyway. So,
Yeah.
right.
Well, and some suggested even maybe like this one's about 1/2 inch tall. Some suggested maybe even a little shorter, because when
Yeah.
you look at it on when you would look at it on the shelf with the curve, you're looking down, it would like disappear.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
And give it like a levitation.
yes, so there's,
Yeah.
there's all kind of different
Yeah,
ways.
Oh, yeah.
So many variables.
It's
And even with
beautiful
the
anyway.
golden ratio, you can do the bowl height as the 1/3, and then the pedestal is 2/3.
Yes,
You know, that way
Yeah.
you're still within proportions.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
that's
do it
why I
that
was
way
saying
too.
the longer pedestal to raise it up. That way you can see the eyes of the piece.
That's what I
But
was thinking. The
that's-
higher it
that's
sets, the
what-
more of it you
But
can
for me,
see.
you know, but that's my appeasing of what I'm seeing on it because of the
Mhm.
eyes on the Mali.
yeah,
And also, the higher it needs to be, the wider the base needs to be tapered into the
Right,
bowl, so it's
bottom.
stable
Yes,
on a table.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
The shorter the foot, the smaller it can be to maintain that stability.
Right.
Mhm.
And so that's why I was saying, you know,
Really
something like an
wide
hourglass
bottom.
shape where it's
They're
fanning out
super
on the
thin
bottom.
stem.
yeah.
But you got lots of options, Glenn. I can't wait to see what you decide.
Yeah.
I had turned this about a month ago, finished it up, but I haven't been doing much turning. I've been doing a lot of flat work. I like doing both, and
Yeah.
I got a big
Nice.
project doing flat work, so I haven't really been even doing any turning lately. So, but
That
I
is
get
a
out there.
gorgeous piece.
All right, thank you.
Night,
Thank you,
Kevin.
Glenn.
Right on. All right, well, folks, we have reached the 9 o'clock hour. Doug, do we have any last minute galleries that we can go to?
I don't have anything else. I'm out.
All right, well, speak now or forever hold your peace, folks. It's been a wonderful meeting. I would like to say I've seen a lot of new names come into the meeting tonight. There's been a lot of new names that I have recognized over the last few weeks. So it must mean we're doing something right. And this is y'all's club. And I think we're doing an excellent job of getting the word out, putting on a program where we share our tips and our techniques and our projects, and we try to inspire others. We have our no butt guarantee. I think it's, you know, like Eddie is famous for saying, the best show going on Zoom for almost 4 years, weekly meetings, weekly demos, and it's all put on by the club, for the club, for all of our enjoyment. And if anybody else has anything to say, quick question, we can get it in. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the official meeting. Recording will stop later on here. And
I think
we
Donald's
will-
got something, sure.
Yeah, Donald's got something. What is it, Donald?
Don't forget to save the chat.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There we are.
Straight from Victoria, Australia.
All right.
Good meeting, everybody. I look forward to seeing y'all online. Check out our webpage. The demos and the various tips and techniques that have been showed tonight will be clipped out Dave Rhodes will get everything set up on the webpage here in the coming days. He's been on a duly needed vacation, but he's still taking care of us. So without further ado, the official meeting is over. And then also everybody keep Eddie in your prayers. He's doing all right, but he can definitely use some prayers.
Absolutely.
Will
All right. Good night,
Post your
everybody.
stuff on
Good night,
Facebook.
everybody.
Hey, Doug.
Ed,
Night, everyone. Take care.
Night, everybody.
Night, Cade.
Good night,
Doug
all.
Rowe.
Hey,
Doug Rowe, what are you doing?